All right. So let's go. Let's get started. I'll start. My name is Eric Friedman. I am Assistant Executive Director for Public Affairs at the Campaign Finance Board. Before we start tonight's hearing of the Voter Assistance Advisory Committee, just a few, I guess, business items, or we take an accessibility moment here at the start of the meeting. I'll first say, again, my name is Eric Friedman. I use he/him pronouns. I'm going to give an audio description of myself and my surroundings for folks who with low vision, and we're going to ask folks to do that before they start to speak in tonight's meeting. So I am white male. I've got some graying hair. I'm wearing a headset. I've got a white shirt with blue stripes on it. I'm standing in the middle of the CFB offices with some fluorescent lights around me. I will add also just one last accessibility note before we get started. For folks who need interpretation services, there's a button at the bottom of your Zoom window marked interpretation. You can find them there. We have interpretations in Spanish. If you were looking for closed captioning, there is a button marked more with 3 dots there. You can click that button and see and access captions there. So with those notes out of the way, I'm going to turn to the chair of the Campaign Finance Board, Rick Schaefer, to kick off the meeting. Rick.
Thank you, Eric. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our post-election Voter Assistance Advisory Committee. As Eric said, my name is Rick Schaefer. I serve as chair of the New York City Campaign Finance Board. I'm a 77-year-old white male. I wear rimless glasses and have gray hair, and I'm wearing a checked shirt. Today, the Voter Assistance Advisory Committee, or VAAC, is going to give voters the opportunity to speak about their experiences voting in and throughout the 2023 primary election cycle. We are particularly interested in any issues voters might have experienced with ranked choice voting, redistricting, and voting via absentee ballot. Before our hearing gets underway, I'd like to first acknowledge the service of our former VAAC chair, Zoilo Torres. Zoilo is a lifelong political, community, and labor organizer whose storied career in New York City politics and government is an inspiration to us all. Zoilo dedicated the entirety of his professional life to public service, and as our VAAC chair, he brought that passion for service to every meeting and hearing that he led. Zoilo always gave his all, and while we are sad to see Zoilo go, we know that he will not go too far. We are thankful to him for his leadership and all that he has done for New Yorkers everywhere. Nevertheless, the work of the VAAC continues, and I am grateful to the committee for cultivating an environment that allows New Yorkers to explore ways to engage with and strengthen our democracy so that it is made more inclusive and accessible. The feedback that we receive from these hearings gives us an opportunity to identify ways we can remove barriers to voting and make it easier for more voters to participate. I'd now like to turn the floor over to our host for tonight's hearing, the CFB Assistant Executive Director of Public Affairs, Eric Friedman. Eric, you're on mute, I think.
There's either feedback coming through or Eric, your microphone is not working. Still can't hear you. No, still cannot hear you.
Can folks hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes? All right.
Yes.
I'm going to give members of the committee who are with us tonight, Chris, or Farain, representing the Public Advocate's Office, if you want to come on and say hello before we kick off.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Farain Griffith, and I'm the community organizer for civics and community empowerment at the Office of the Public Advocate, Jamani D. Williams. Thank you for hosting this important hearing. And I am a light-skinned African-American woman with a navy blue t-shirt, navy blue blazer, navy blue and brownish glasses, and reddish brown hair. I'm not going to give my age like Frederick did, but I'm glad to be here and look forward to the testimonies.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Christopher Malone. I am a middle-aged white male. I'm also not going to give my age. We'll just say middle age, maybe younger middle age. I'm not sure. I'm wearing a light blue shirt. I have graying hair, black rimmed glasses. I'm in my office at Farmingdale State College, where I'm the associate provost. And I'm a political scientist by training. I was appointed by Mayor de Blasio to this great body in the spring of 2020. So I've been here for just over 3 years. It's been an eventful 3 years in the life of New York City and the life of democracy in New York City. I want to echo what Fred said, what Rick said about Zoilo, our former chair. He did great work, and the work of the VAAC goes on, and I'm very excited and interested to hear public testimony about our latest election today.
All right, thanks, Chris. I'm going to try one more time. Do people hear me? Somebody? All right, we're back.
Indeed, yes.
We're back. Amazing. Thanks, Farain. Thanks, Chris. Thanks you both for being here. Before we move into public testimony, I'll just a few brief. I just want to do a brief recognition of some of the work that that our staff has done, kind of in preparation around this primary election back in June that we're going to be hearing from folks about. This was a redistricting election. It comes on the heels of a city redistricting process that was generally successful, and I'll plug really briefly an analysis that our policy and research team did for the our voter analysis report published back in the spring, showing exactly how testimony from folks who took their time to show up and testify at meetings like this of the redistricting commission really had an impact on the way those lines were drawn to better represent communities across the city. This was our second ranked choice voting election in New York City history, and our staff played a large role, as we did back in 2021, in helping voters understand how to vote with confidence in this still relatively new system in the city. Fewer than half of city council districts across the city had contested primary elections, and I'll acknowledge that the turnout is still not reaching the levels we'd like to see, but also just want to again acknowledge the role that the work of the agency did in helping New Yorkers engaged. Our public master funds program paid out more than $7.5 million to 55 candidates for council all over the city. And a lot of work across our agency goes into working directly with those candidates, ensuring they receive the proper levels of matching funds that they've qualified for. I want to acknowledge and recognize the work of my colleagues who fuel our NYC Votes programming. Our voter guide, which we published throughout the history of the Campaign Finance Board, was published for the first time this year in 14 languages, which is a huge undertaking. We built a brand new candidate comparison tool into our online guide, which featured videos from those candidates who were running, including audio descriptions and ASL translation. Ran a broad-based advertising campaign reaching over 4 million voters across the city, really with young voters and immigrant voters making up a significant portion of that audience. That advertising ran in 8 languages, again, first time for our agency. My colleagues on the partnerships and outreach team were hosting virtual trainings across the city in multiple languages, some in person. Dozens of in-person voter activation events in some of our key target areas, virtual text banks to encourage New Yorkers to get out and vote. We published social media toolkits for our partners in 14 languages, created and shared videos on how to vote and why your vote matters, created some really amazing content on social media to help New Yorkers get ready to vote with confidence. Looking ahead, we've got an amazing cohort of youth ambassadors who are just getting started with their work under the guidance of our youth programs manager, Olivia Brady. Will be learning about New York City history, about government, give them the tools to promote civic engagement among their peers as we look forward to this November and to elections next year. That audience will continue to be a really central focus of our work. So I'm really pleased to be able to, before we hear from people, give an opportunity, take an opportunity to recognize that work and lift it up. So with that, I do want to turn to the purpose of tonight's hearing. Rick laid it out at the top. We do provide this space for voters to come and talk about their experience voting in the most recent election. As the charter mandates, this is one of 2 public hearings that we hold at this committee throughout the year for that purpose. And so we have, I will turn to folks who have signed up to testify in advance. For anyone who's with us and would like to provide, spoken testimony to the committee, you will absolutely have the opportunity and raise your hand or otherwise kind of indicate in the chat that if you're able, that you would like to. That you would like to speak. So our first member of the public who has signed to testify, that is Mark Laster. Are you with us, Mark?
Good evening. I'm Mark Laster. Personal pronouns he and him. I'm a 66-year-old white male, wearing glasses, gray hair, and a gray beard. I'm wearing a Forest Hills Green Team t-shirt, and I'm also wearing a Forest Hills Green Team baseball cap. So again, my name is Mark Laster, and I am co-chair of the Forest Hills Green Team, an executive committee member of Queens Community Board number 6, and an active member of the Queensborough President Donovan Richards Civic Engagement Committee. The testimony I give today is from my personal observations. We face many challenges in engaging the public, encouraging them to vote. In my various civic roles, I have had the opportunity to do street canvassing. In my opinion, that is one of the ways to engage the general public. As I have done this canvassing, the amount of people who refuse to even stop for a few seconds is quite daunting. During my last canvassing activity, I found more people stopping if I opened with a general information such as, are you aware the primary is today? That is why the work of the Campaign Finance Board is so important. The information you provide allows us to have factual information and not be viewed as somebody who's just bothering people. In my role as the co-chair of the Forest Hills Green Team, we run a weekly food scrap drop-off site where community members come to drop off their food scraps to be composted. This gives us an opportunity to engage them and educate them about the importance of civic engagement. We again thank the Campaign Finance Board for providing important literature which we share with these community members. What I noticed about the last primary was it was great receiving so much information about the candidates. What I saw missing, however, at least in my area in Forest Hills, was that we had an election for a civic court judge. There was really no information about this particular race. I also see attempts being made to publicize elections for positions that normally do not get much attention, but are important in shaping our civic landscape, such as state committee members for various registered statewide parties, district leaders, judicial delegates, and county committee members, again, for various local parties, would benefit in getting more information about these positions. I am a strong believer that change starts on the grassroots, and these party positions give people the opportunity to both vote for people they agree with and who support their vision, and run themselves for these various positions to get civically engaged. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity to testify.
All right. Thank you, Mark. All right, we're gonna. I know we have one member of the public who's raised their hand, indicated they'd like to testify. That is Michael Ring. I will kind of reiterate as we go into public testimony. Speakers going forward will have 2 minutes to deliver the testimony. We'll let folks know when they can begin, and we will jump in and notify folks when getting close to time. Once you give your name, any necessary affiliation, and your audio description, your time begins then. So we're going to try and make sure that we hold folks to time going forward, so everyone who wants to speak gets the same amount of time. So please try to keep to that limit. And if for folks who have prepared written testimony and would like to share it, you can submit that written testimony by emailing our intergovernmental analyst, Turquoise Baker, at tbaker@nyccfb.info. So Michael Ring, I see you on the screen. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for giving me this chance to testify. Brief visual description would show that I'm a 60-year-old white guy wearing a hat. And if you can see, I'm in Prospect Park and I have a number pinned to my shirt because I'm about to run a 5K. So I'm glad you're giving me this chance to get started here. I'm also a poll worker and a poll worker with a disability. And I'm a member of the Board of Elections, the feedback committee, where we, as disabled people, give feedback to the Board of Elections. And we tried to have more disability awareness training given to poll workers. But in my 2 trainings that I had this spring, we didn't get the training. In the first training, they said the video player was broken, so we all get to leave a half hour sooner. And in the second training, they just showed us how to set up and break down the BMD, which no one paid attention to because there was no test and we all went home, which was disappointing. And it turned out that during the election, I couldn't work because I had a little bit of COVID. So when I went to vote and I wanted to use the BMD, no one knew why I would want to use the BMD because no one had any training on why someone would use a BMD. So I'm hoping that maybe this committee could get the Board of Elections to train poll workers like myself on why someone would want to use a BMD, a ballot marking device, and what it does, and a little bit more awareness on how to help out with disabled people when they come to vote. Thank you for this chance to testify. Thanks a lot. Bye.
All right, thank you, Michael, for testifying. Though you're about to go out and get some exercise. Appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us and share your thoughts. Really appreciate it. Next up, we're going to hear from Kathleen Collins. With Kathleen coming on screen.
Sorry to keep you waiting. About that. My name is Kathleen Collins. A white woman with short reddish brown hair, wearing pink headphones and a pink sleeveless top. And I'm a congenital quadruple amputee. And I'm here representing organization Downstate New York Adapt. I'm part of, with Michael, the voter engagement working group. And also, I'm also a member of the Accessibility Voter Assistance Advisory Committee. And so I just want to bring up 2 quick things today. Again, we, like Michael says, the training, we need more training of the poll workers, and that's been brought to various people's attention. So hopefully we can get more training so they realize, I mean, it is getting better out there. I'm seeing that people are learning, because I know in one case, a woman went to a polling site and she has low vision. And at first, one gentleman said to her, "Oh, no, you can't. That the ballot marking device is there for some, other people." And these 2 women poll workers came over and said, "No, you're wrong. They're for everybody, and you can't stop her from using it." So there is, some are getting the training and understanding, and some aren't. So I, a shout out to those 2 great ladies that knew what the law was and what the rules are. So thank you. And yeah, so we just like to have more of that. I know there was legislation just passed about training on the state level, so hopefully that will follow through. And the other thing was we had a little problem with the Find My Poll site, .vote.nyc for people with JAWS and voiceover, which we brought to the attention of Area Merkel, and I know that they were working on that issue. That was the only other thing. Otherwise, it seemed pretty well, and I just wanted to invite you all to our voting expo on Saturday it's the Disability Voting Expo from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., where you can see a couple of manufacturers showing their voting machines and ballot marking devices. And thank you for the work you all do here. Thank you. And we're gonna have people from the Campaign Finance Board there too. So, and from the Office of the Public Advocate, Lorraine Griffith's gonna be there and her staff, and of course, the Board of Elections in the City of New York and the League of Women Voters. I don't want to leave that on anybody. And the 3 voting manufacturers. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Kathleen, for that programming note, for that plug, and for your continued advocacy and coming tonight to tell that story. So up next we have Dr. Tawana Guilford. Are you here with us?
Hello.
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 All right, we hear you.
Can I be heard?
You're heard. If you want to come on screen, you can do that. And whenever you're ready, say hello, give your description, and get started.
Okay, I'll decline to get on the screen, but I'll still give a description. I am slightly younger than middle age, a Black female. I reside in Harlem. I am a medium build, tall, and light skin. So my issue is in regards to the notification and how much notification individuals had that one of the candidates for City Council District 9 would not be had withdrawn from the race. I think that, you know, the fact that that individual's name was still listed on the ballot and at the #1 spot created a sense of confusion, and it further disenfranchised an impacted population of people. I mean, we already have low voter turnout in this community, and then to have an individual who was just taking up a slot, a very critical slot on the ballot, it just created a sense of confusion in our community and amongst voters. And this individual got a significant number of votes, which don't count for anything because they had given advance notice that they would not be running for re-election. This is the incumbent. So I guess moving forward, I think that more information should go out widely that this individual does not intend to run. I'm not sure whether anyone could stand at the poll site or whether poll workers could just remind people that that individual has withdrawn from the race, because that to me, if it's not addressed, then people will make the wrong decision just based on name recognition, based on position on a ballot. And I think that that creates an unfair advantage to the individuals who remained in the race. So maybe the Board of Elections can really think this through as to how they will treat these types of situations in the future, because we want our candidates, the candidates who put up a good fight, to have a fair spot and a fair chance at the election. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Guilford, for raising that issue here with us and for taking the time to be here to testify. Do we have any other member of the public who would like to be heard? If you want to raise your hand as an attendee, we'll give folks just a minute if they'd like to indicate a desire to speak while we're all here together. All right. Well, seeing none, and this will be, you know, I suppose is good news, at least in terms of the voter experience, that we don't have a lot of folks who are here to share their stories about testifying. But we are going to be continuing to work to ensure between now and November to ensure New Yorkers are excited, they're ready, they're going to come out and vote for their members of City Council. in this November's general election. I want to remind folks who are watching or listening that you can submit written testimony to the committee through this Friday at 5 p.m. Again, please direct that if you can to our intergovernmental analyst, Turquoise Baker, and her email is tbaker@nyccfb.info. Before we close tonight, I again want to thank all the staff, kind of like help us kind of put these meetings on, and folks who are kind of bearing with me through my own technical challenges. But to Turquoise and Ali Swatek, who's helping behind the scenes, Tim Hunter, Natalia Goldstein, and really all my colleagues in public affairs who really collaborate and help us not only put on these meetings, but do this work we've been talking about tonight. I want to thank them. And to the members of the committee for joining us tonight and really helping us provide this space for folks to come and share their experiences and help make voting more accessible and easier for everyone across New York City. I'll give the folks who stuck with us, Rick or Shireen or Chris, an opportunity to just help close us out, if you'd like.
I did want to if I may, share a little bit of my experience as I was listening to Michael Ring and Kathy Collins, if that's okay. Just, I think I like what they were saying because I had my own experience when I went to use the ballot marking device. I was told, no, you don't use that. You use the privacy booth. And I said, no, I want to use the ballot marking device. So I think more education. So I would like to, I agree with them, just more education on people with disabilities. If we can get more people with disabilities to work at the polling site, be poll workers and such, I think that would help out, with those experiences. I just wanted to add that. That's it for me.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. I think normalizing the use of those ballot marking devices is another small way in which we, I think help make every voter feel that like they belong and it's and that their vote counts and give them confidence in casting that ballot. So I appreciate you lifting that point up. Anyone else?
Eric, I would just like to thank everybody who participated in the hearing this evening and thank our staff for the work that went into the preparation for the hearing.
All right, thanks very much, Rick. I think with that we can close tonight's meeting. Again, just one last thanks to everyone who came to participate, members of the committee, and to the staff supporting this work behind the scenes. Have a great night, everyone.